Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and another morning ramble and another inspirational ornament dedication. If you notice behind me there, that is not the Eastern red cedar we started hanging these ornaments of inspiration on. That Eastern red cedar tree is full, so this morning we got up here and we started decorating our Triumph tree. One of our subscribers had an idea for that, and I think it's very fitting because we're using an autumn olive. And guys, I've been up here sticking up Christmas ornaments until my fingers bleed. It hurt almost as much as that painfully removing a splinter from my finger after stacking firewood. I hope I don't have any communicable diseases, because if I do, I just gave it to myself. Anyway, let me explain. Somebody commented about how they like the name Triumph Tree. I thought, that's really awesome, because what we're doing here is not pick a God team specific. These ornaments are for anybody who has a story about overcoming pain, hardship, loss, suffering, who continue to move forward and be better, not bitter, like a troll, for whom I put a bulb up here, and for whom this crayon is a symbol. Not just that if you continue to cross the line. I've got a bigger plan. It's not about just pulling out my crayon. I am prepared to, and this is for the good stories too, perhaps as early today, pull out my entire arsenal of crayons and paint the world, or color the world with love. And if I have to do that, it's a crazy idea, and you'll see what I mean, and you'll go, oh. So anyway, we have 34 new bulbs up today. I had Roger once out. That was my rooster. You guys hit us hard overnight, so we've come out swinging. The trolls hit hard too. Somebody commented that they don't see that many negative comments. That's because the majority of them, fortunately, get held up in the held for review filter on the comment section, and of course they don't get approved. And guys, just so you know, we don't approve links. We don't let links go on our channel. We don't put our own links. We don't link out to Patreon, which we don't do. We don't link out to my books on Amazon, because we're not here to sell books. We're here for the purposes of this channel. So if we don't link out to our links that we could, we're not going to link out to yours. No offense. But if you're wondering where your comments are, if they've had links in them, that's why they're not getting through. So a lot of these troll comments you don't see. We delete them. They never make it to see the light of day. But let's just say they hit hard last night too. They don't like what we're doing. So trolls, we put a bulb on the tree to you to show you this is our symbol that we will love you until you can learn to love yourself. And I have a very special message for you at the end of this video, inspired by a couple of these stories. And I will pull out my arsenal, my entire arsenal of crayons. And I have a lot of crayons if you keep crossing that line. That's just your fair warning. That's what this is. This can either be an olive branch or it can be something else. Okay, so number one, we have a bulb up here for Nina Thomas, who lost her husband, Gavino Jr., Javino Jr., it might be Gavino Jr., I don't want to mispronounce it, I'm sorry if I do, due to illness last August. Okay, number two, we've got a bulb up for Barbara Pierce, who's battling breast cancer for the past 3 years. She is also a veteran, as is her husband, and she said that they served in England, or for the UK. Hey, you fought for freedom. You fought for the free world. You stepped outside of yourself, as did your husband, to do something for those outside of you, people other than yourself. Thank you for your service. Okay, number three, Sandra McCollum. She needs knee replacement, but they can't operate due to other conflicting health issues, and she lives with pain because she can't even take pain meds due to these other health issues. Sandra McCollum came on here, and she told us her story. She offered us well wishes, and so here's a woman who is sick. She's in pain, yet she continues to be better rather than bitter, and she shares that betterness with the world. So thank you, Sandra. Teresa M. She survived colon cancer, multiple surgeries, loss of many loved ones, and something worse than all of this that she wouldn't name, so I can only imagine. And she wrote that without God, she doesn't know how she would have done. She wouldn't have made it through it. She doesn't know what she would have done. Don't ever forget that God loves you and cares for you deeply. Thank you, Teresa. You notice Teresa didn't tell me which God she's choosing to honor here, and how if I don't, I'm not on her same team and I shouldn't be up here doing what I'm doing. Teresa M., you're setting an example for a lot of folks to follow. Thank you for your acceptance despite your knowledge of my team I'm on, and thank you for your story. You got an ornament up here on the tree of triumph. You have triumphed. You've overcome colon cancer. You've overcome so many hardships, and you're still overcoming. So we've got a bulb up here for you. I'm going to kneel down a bit. I've been up here for a long time. Let's see. Victoria Cooliday, it looks like. Her youngest son died of SIDS when he was only a year old. The child's father, he had stage 4 brain cancer. Her grandmother had Parkinson's, and her father had lung cancer, and all three of these folks have since passed on. She also lost a nephew. So, Victoria, you've got an ornament on the Tree of Triumph, okay? Honoring those you've lost and yourself for your bravery to continue to move forward and be a positive force, sharing positive feelings and attitudes and love rather than being bitter. Okay, Reba Crow lost 3 family members to opiates abuse. Guys, this is something that's tearing our country apart. I mean, I grew up in Appalachia. You guys have heard my own stories here in other morning rambles. This hit very close to home. Reba Crow, you got an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph. I put an ornament up here for somebody that didn't ask for one, Ammo Bunny. She's been a long-time subscriber of ours. She mentioned that she appreciated the bird feeder yesterday that I put up in honor of our veterans and our active military members, Regard, Reservists, Coast Guard, everybody. She said that she started watching birds in Iraq. That's one of the things she did to get through. I commented back to her that I started watching grass in Iraq because there was so little of it. And it didn't occur to me until I kind of had this two-way conversation here with her through the comments this morning at about 4:30 a.m. my time, that's probably why I love to sit up here so much at this campground we've constructed up here on the top of our 6 acres and just stare out across the nice green grass when I do these rambles and at other times of the day. I guess because for a year I didn't see much grass, and when I did see a blade or two, it caught my attention. So it truly is a gift and a blessing to be able to sit up here and look at all this grass. So Ammo Bunny, you didn't want a bulb, but you got a bulb on the Tree of Triumph anyway, and thank you for your service. Number 8, Teresa Tanasi. She has no family. Her sister Laura was her best friend, and she's gone. Her father was a decorated Vietnam vet. He's gone, and her mom died when she was very young. Holidays are hard for her. Teresa, we're spending the holiday with you this year in mind and spirit, and you've got an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph for you and those that you've lost. Angie lost a 32-year-old daughter to the flu just this past Wednesday, and her daughter left behind a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old child. So thoughts, prayers, well wishes, meditative practices going out to Angie and Angie's adult daughter and those 2 children. Number 10, Beth Grant DeRoos. Her hubby Ron was hit and paralyzed by a drunk driver. Guys, this is another amazing story of forgiveness. For 14 years, Beth has been taking care of her husband, who's paralyzed, and she said she didn't want an ornament either, but she wanted to tell her story, and her and her entire family is getting an ornament on the Tree of Triumph anyway. She said that her husband, despite this, just reads the family the riot act regularly about forgiveness and not holding a grudge against the drunk that hit him and took away his ability to walk. And she said that they're overjoyed this holiday because their only son had a successful multiple organ transplant surgery, and he ironically was hit by a drunk driver 2 years before his father. So what a story of forgiveness, and we're glad that the transplant went well. Number 11, saving that one for last. This one's for the trolls. This was such an amazing story. Okay, we're going to skip that. Number 12, a Brett Tell. It was just a bunch of letters, looks like a Brett Tell. This gentleman needs to have a lung biopsy, and his mom is going through chemo. So we've got an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph for both of you. Kyle Crush. He was in a car crash some time back and was supposed to die. He didn't breathe for 45 minutes. He gave testimony of the wonderful lady in his life who's been taking care of him since this happened, and he's still alive here with us today, and he's positive, he's filled with love. Him and his wonderful lady has an ornament on the Tree of Triumph. Number 14, Susan Sirac. Her older sister's in very bad health, and her sister lost her partner of 12 years to bladder and bowel cancer, and they're having some tough times right now. So Susan and your sister, you've got an ornament on the Tree of Triumph. Mike L. told a very heart-wrenching story. He's a veteran. He's my age, never married. A few years back, met a woman he fell in love with. She had a couple kids. He fell in love with them as well, accepted the whole family. Things didn't go quite the way that Mike L. had wanted or any of us would want, and there's parts of his story I just don't want to share on here. But Mike, I thank you for sharing it, and you are in my thoughts and prayers. This woman left him, and he's been heartbroken ever since, and you've got an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph, Mike. Number 16, Jackie Smith lost her sister Deborah to heart failure, and she also lost her German Shepherd, both in the same year. And so Jackie, you got an ornament on the Tree of Triumph. Our thoughts, prayers, best wishes, and meditative practices are with you. I want to give a shout out and a bulb to J.E. Jeffries, Hoorah, he's a Marine veteran. Now we say hoo-ah in the Army, but out of respect for Jeff, hoorah. Jeff wanted to have a bulb put up for his father, who just yesterday would have been his dad's 91st birthday. His father, who was a decorated Vietnam veteran, died of Agent Orange cancer on Valentine's Day. So you guys have an ornament up here, Jay, and thank you for your service, sir. Okay, Heather Russell and her husband Eddie. An amazing story here. Heather talked about how her husband Eddie had a wife before, a previous marriage. Him and his first wife had a stillborn child, very heartbreaking experience. And then he would go on to lose his first wife. I believe it was a car crash, she mentioned. And so the holidays are very tough for them. They've been together almost 9 years. And God bless Heather Russell for her ability to understand her husband's pain that is centered around the loss of another love from his life. Yet she loves him so much that she doesn't get feelings of insecurity or... That's just an amazing story, Heather. So you and Eddie have a bulb up here. And they had lots of other painful losses. Heather lost some children herself. Her story just absolutely blew me away. So Heather, you guys are going to be shining bright like a diamond up here. Your ornament is on the Tree of Triumph. Pam Darso had foot surgery yesterday. Got an ornament up. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Rebel Redneck, my friend. You have a bulb up in honor of your brother. Rebel Redneck's brother suffered from some grand mal seizures and a double stroke, and Rebel Redneck misses his fishing and hunting buddy. Well, buddy, your brother has a bulb up here in our wildlife refuge, and he might not be taking any more big bucks out, but he's got a couple big bucks he's got one big buck. His name's Davy Crockett that likes to walk around up here and look at your brother's bulb. Debbie Casey Jones, been a subscriber for a long time. We always love seeing her show up. This is her first Christmas without her mother, Evelyn. And her 14-year-old nephew this summer sadly passed on in a drowning accident with the summer job he had. Debbie Casey Jones, in honor of you, your mother, who's no longer with us, and your nephew, and the rest of his family, you've got an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. Kathy Willis, her baby brother died of lung cancer. Kathy's been with us for a while too. She's often fond of Dearly's videos, my wife. And I understand why now. Kathy shared a beautiful story about how her little brother, who passed on with lung cancer, met a beautiful Filipina lady named Rosalie. She was the love of his life. They got married. Unfortunately, their marriage came to an end when her baby brother passed on. But Kathy went on and on about how much she loves Rosalie, and it sounds like Rosalie is still very much a part of their family. Thank you, Kathy. You, your brother, and Rosalie has an ornament on the Tree of Triumph. A lady named Pegboard there. The father of her 3-year-old grandbaby, or great-grandbaby, and unborn great-grandbaby, took his own life this summer and left that mother of those babies behind. And she says they need prayers. Well, they do. And your entire family, everybody involved with that situation, has an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. 24. Yay, I've stopped bleeding. Okay, 24. Mary Rose. Mary Rose is terminally ill and her husband needs a kidney transplant. Mary Rose gave a very long message, basically just confessing the love of her and her husband that they have for each other. And it was a very touching story. And she said in here something that was very valuable. And I'd like every troll watching this to listen. She says, "It may seem we don't add meaning to this world, but we do. My husband makes me laugh through the pain every day as I do him." These two people are suffering, and she says that she has a terminal illness, and we know what happens to folks who need transplants that don't get them. They are together. They have each other, and they are helping each other get through the pain of every day by making each other laugh so much that the pain from the laughter hurts more than the pain from their illnesses. Mary Rose is probably, it was written as one word, but Mary Rose, you have, and your husband, an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. The Wildings Landings has a friend on a heart transplant list. You got an ornament on our list, and it's up here on our Tree of Triumph. Number 26, UPS KC. There's the story I'm going to talk about here at the end of this, that UPS Casey, he's been with us for a long time. There's an amazing story there. UPS Casey suffered from guilt associated with a couple of suicides for many, many years, and he reached out to me after a video I made about how there's only one person left to forgive, and it was basically a video about self-forgiveness, and he said it really touched him, and it's brought him a long way. So you've got a bulb up here for your story. I'm sorry that it's taken me till this long to tell your story, and I still haven't gone into it in detail, but you're up here, okay? Love you, brother. We have a lot in common. I know that. Trust me, I read everything you write. Okay? Okay, the Kamakura Gardner. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. This gentleman's living in Japan. He's been with us for a while. Always positive. Love his comments. Just yesterday, he lost his mother to lung cancer in Philadelphia, less than 24 hours ago as of this recording. He actually commented on the channel just, I think, 2 hours after he got the news. So, Kamakura Gardner, way over there in Japan. You and your mother have an ornament up here on our Tree of Triumph. Thoughts and prayers, well wishes, and meditative practices coming your way. Linda Dale, she's been with us a while. Her brother died last week. Linda, you and your brother have a bulb on our Tree of Triumph. We're sorry for your loss. Jackie Comer, she's got a bulb for her mom and dad who passed within 2 days of each other after being married for 56 years. Isn't that amazing? You hear those stories from time to time about a couple who have been together so long that when one goes just hours or just 2 days, in this case, the other goes, it's as if they can't live without each other. That's a beautiful story because we know they're together somewhere else. Jackie Comer, thanks for this story. Debbie Dowdy, she lost her mom, dad, and her sister to cancer. You, your mom, your dad, and your sister have an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. Jolie Hayden, lost her mom December of 2011. Christmas isn't the same. Her heart still breaks. Jolie Hayden, you and in your mom's memory, you have an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph. 31. Shelley Lindsley. Shelley Lindsley. Shelley, last night I stopped working after I read your comment, and I had a lot of these to go through, and I got up at 4 o'clock this morning. I usually get up around 4 or 5 anyway. I could have slept in, but I intentionally got up to make sure to get through the rest of these because I stopped after I read yours, and I want to thank you for giving me this comment to cause me to stop. Here's what's going on. Last night, Daniel, he's just in the last month or so, he's gotten into wrestling. He loves to hold me down, get on top of me, get me in his best move, and then tell me to try to get up. Try to get up. And I try to get up, and he says try to get up in his little baby 7-year-old voice, and it's so cute. I laugh so hard. I can't get up. Not so much just because he is pretty strong, but I'm just laughing too hard to get up. So he was wanting to do that last night, and I was going through these comments, said, no, wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. And he was laying there on the floor, and I just kept saying, just wait, just wait. I read Shelley Lindsay's comment, and after I read it, I immediately put down the laptop, played with my son the rest of the night, and then got back to work at 4 o'clock this morning. In 1988, Shelley lost her son to SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Shelley, I'm sorry. That's somebody coming up down on the list. In 1988, Shelley lost her son. He was only 6 years old. And Shelley said Daniel holds a special place in her heart when she watches these videos. When I read that, I mean, Daniel's 7, just a year older than Shelley's son when she lost him at 6 in 1988. I looked at him, begging me to come wrestle with him, and I said to myself, why would I do anything else in the world right now? After reading Shelley's comment, knowing I have such a precious angel right there wanting my time, I gave my time to him. So Shelley, you and your son, who you lost at 6 years old in 1988, all those years ago, have an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. Thank you for, I mean, that was, you reached through in time and space and woke me up. You said, hey, you got something more important going on right now. Thank you. Okay. Kathy WV. I'm thinking Kathy, West Virginia. I saw WV. If it is, go Mountaineers. Unless you're playing the Cavaliers. Okay, we've got an ornament up here on the Tree of Triumph for Kathy, who lost her 13-year-old daughter, Stacy Marie, and her 15-year-old daughter, Carly Rochelle, both to sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. Kathy, we've all heard it said the hardest thing that we could ever go through is the loss of a child. I can't imagine losing two. So you and your girls have an ornament up here. Number 33, Simplify 1918. Simplify 1918 wrote that he celebrates Hanukkah. Welcome. We're happy. We don't care what you celebrate, folks, or not at all. It's about unity here. We're not picking teams, okay? So Simplify 1918 wrote that his stepdad, Steve Whiting, passed away by a car accident back in 2013, and he wanted an ornament in his honor. Simplify 1918, you got one. He went on to tell quite a touching story, and it wasn't about as much about what his stepdad did in life as it was it's how much he realized he must have done in life, because there were over 500 people at his funeral. It amazed him at how many people his stepdad touched while he was among the living, and it made him start to question, is he doing anything that might have the similar result? How many people will end up at his funeral? It's amazing. So number 34. Of course, we skipped, oh, we have more than 34. I thought it was 34. We have more. Rosalia Pinnell. She wants a bulb up for her son, Don, who's struggling with PTSD. He's got one, and so does everybody else that has PTSD. Fleur has been with us a while. See the comments come through from time to time. I lost mom and dad only 13 months apart. Well, Fleur, you and your mom and your dad have an ornament up here. Gloria Kipfer. There's an ornament up here for your son and the 3 children involved with this situation, and yourself, who's raising one of his children. Gloria had a son who's in his late 20s. He's an Army veteran. He went off to Afghanistan. He got shot, came home, started taking care of his 3 children after their mother took off, and drinking and drugging became part of the story. Some bad things happened, and she feels that well, just things, it was all downhill from there. You've got an ornament on our Tree of Triumph. Okay. 37. Wow, we have 40. 41. It's all right, guys. I have more bulbs. And again, there's more to come. It's not just... I'll get to that here at the end. Chris Darrell, longtime subscriber. He wants bulbs up for his grandparents who meant the world to so many. You've got them. Janice Schmidt lost her dad in 1992. He was her best friend. She loved to sit down and drink coffee with him and solve the problems of the world over conversation. Janice Schmidt, you and your father have a bulb on the Tree of Triumph. Sharon Henniger, for her friend Lonnie Fox, who was a mountain man, a sage, and a poet. In his memory, you've got a bulb. Barb Talbot, who I believe is in Texas, lost her dad in 2002 and her mom in 2011. Your parents, Barb, have a bulb. Might not be as big as your bulbs in Texas, because everything's bigger in Texas, but they've got a bulb here in Virginia. Okay, here's 41, then we're going on to the last one. Monica Kittleson. Her mom, dad, and her brother died within 3 months of each other last year. Wow. And Monica is here spreading love, not hate. Monica, you and those family members that we just mentioned have a bulb. Now, the story I'm going to tell says flip back to number 11. Oh my goodness. All right, Fran, who uses the user ID Ben B, said this is Fran. I'm going to tell you her story because it's a story about being better, not bitter, showing love, not hate, and it's made me realize I'm about ready to break out the whole arsenal of crayons. We're going to go over here and look at our other 2 while I tell this. Fran mentioned about how, well, she talked about ignoring trolls, people who want to hate you no matter how good you did or you're doing. She told a story of her grandfather who, and this was a long time ago, he filed for bankruptcy 3 times. He owned a little store out in the country, I guess, and or it might have been in a town, she didn't say. But he would have to file bankruptcy because he would allow people to run up credits, charges, and not pay him off because he knew these people had children who were hungry. Now, the people were mean to him. They were nasty. Even though he would give them food from the gardens that he would have gardens that he would share with other people where they could come plant vegetables and grow food if they didn't have space. And still, they had nasty neighbors. She said in her comments the type of neighbor that I had to run off with a crayon. But still, he gave and he gave and he gave and he gave. Well, he passed on, of course. And Fran ended up... See, that one's full. Fran ended up going into healthcare, taking care of people. And she said that, ironically, she cared for some of these people in their final days when they were dying. And she said they were on borrowed beds with borrowed mattresses and nobody came to see them. And as mean and nasty as they were to her grandfather throughout his life, he still continued to show nothing but compassion. So that's amazing. And so here in UPS KC, his story kind of ties into this too. I'm thinking about the trolls, and UPSKC was never a troll. This person was positive always since we've been in contact with each other. But what I found with hatred, when you hate yourself so much that you hate everybody else around you, especially if they're doing good. You see people who are healthy, you see people who are happy, and it makes you hate them even more. I've been there. I've been there. Not only have I given you a bulb on our Tree of Triumph, I'm going to give you a solution because I found that it's what worked with me. I hated the world. I hated everybody around me because I felt I'd been done wrong by some people, and I had been done wrong by some people. I had done wrong by some people who retaliated, and some of them didn't. Some of them never retaliated. I did a lot of wrong. And so I forgave the people who had wronged me. I'd forgiven people who had taken things that were most precious to me, but still, these things never came back to me. And so I eventually said, what's the use? What's the use to be positive? What's the use of forgiving when you still don't get the life you want? Well, I just hate life and I hate everybody in it. It took me years to realize, and it took a conversation with a Canadian man in the Philippines who'd been over there for about 40 years and who'd been sober for 40 years, to convince me that really the person I needed to forgive was myself. As long as I hated myself, there was no way I would ever be able to love anybody else or life or the world. I took his advice to heart. I did it. I'm going to attach a video to the end of this one called You Have One Person Left to Forgive, or You Only Have One Person Left to Forgive. And basically that's a video about self-forgiveness. If you hate yourself so much that you've got to take that out on people doing good things, people who have good lives, you might want to take a look at self-forgiveness. Therein might lie the answer you're looking for. So I'm going to put that on here. Please watch that. And I will tell you, the arsenal gates are open down there, and I am just about ready to pull out my entire arsenal of crayons. And if I do, we're going to take your hatred and we're going to use it to color the world with love. You keep coming at me, and you're fixing to find out what I'm talking about. So guys, thanks for being with us here for another morning ramble and ornament Tree of Triumph dedication, Ornaments of Inspiration dedication. Check back in with us for more next time here at Homesteading Off the Grid, and I think that might be this afternoon as way as these things keep coming in. See ya.